So we're gonna start off by cleaning this EGR valve so I can put it back in this truck. So I'm gonna pop the O-rings off. It's a nasty job. It's so dirty. You can see this bolt was loose because it stripped in the intake. It blew this gasket out and it's leaking everywhere. So that's why we're resealing it to get it back to its glory days. Just take some brake clean. Get this valve nice and clean. And the valve tested fine, so there's no reason to replace it. So it should take care of it. That's what happens when people don't know what they're doing. They strip the bolt in the intake manifold and the valve pushes up. Still a little bit of crap in there. Really not dirty. Just clean it because I gotta reseal it. Look at that. I'll get some more rags. You just don't want to spray the stuff right in the valve because it can get in the electrical portion of it. I try not to ever spray them. It's good. As clean as it's going to get. So next, here's the new O-rings straight from the dealer. Try to use the best stuff we can. Just 2 O-rings and a little metal gasket. Gotta get it past that. It's kind of a little fight. It has 3 tabs on it that like to bite. So that looks perfect. You can see the tab right there, so there's 4. So that looks pretty good. Now we're gonna put the O-rings on. There's 1. These used to be orange. I don't know when they changed to purple. But that's all we try to ever use. And this is already a Ford remanufactured valve, so it should be okay. This is the part number if anybody's interested. 3 Charlie, 3 Zebra, 9 Paul, 455 Adam Bravo for a 6-liter turbo diesel Powerstroke engine for an EGR seal kit. Just these 2 O-rings and that little gasket. Okay, now we're gonna go put it in the truck. You can see how bad it is, all the soot. So we're just gonna clean it up and then I have to re-tap that hole. There's no threads in there from the last guy, whoever did this. So let's clean it up first. I'm gonna have to install a timersert in there. Yeah, this is a mess. And then the trick to getting the valve in nice is clean this bore out. Usually just pop right in. If you don't clean it, sometimes it'll tear the O-ring when you gotta put it in. There's 2 levels to it, so you gotta make sure you get both of them. Okay. How's that look? Looks a little bit better. Let's clean it up a little more. That's a good seal. I'm gonna go to install it. For right now, I have to shove this rag in here. Don't get no metal in the engine. Because I'm gonna have to drill that hole out a little bit bigger. This might be a little bit of a pain. I'm not gonna be able to get straight on it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this throttle valve off.
Million fucking views.
Yeah, and I figured just to try to educate people a little bit. No, never mind. So, I gotta take this intake horn off to get a straight shot at it. So I'm gonna start removing all that stuff. We're gonna pull this part of the fan shroud. Oh, that didn't work. Take that. This has been a pain in the butt. Okay. There's that. Someone's already broke it. That's really nice. This one fits weird. Very, very weird. Okay. Now that that's off, let's take this off. So we're gonna need an 8mm. Use the longest extension I have. Why not? I like on the P pumps, they have it's like a camshaft.
Yeah.
So that one it shouldn't be off. The P pump, it's camshaft, so it wouldn't. I guess you'd be able to get 180 degrees out.
Because I mean,
yeah, or 360 degrees off. Because if it's on the bottom side, it's just like a camshaft on a car.
Well, I mean, if you move it, if you turn it one whole revolution, is that going to be on number 1 now? You know. Yeah. Okie dokie. Let's not try to drop anything down the black hole of death. I do not want to take the intake manifold off. Please. Try to get this off without breaking it. These usually don't break. These do.
Here's your nuts.
Perfect, thank you.
Do I put on your toolbox?
Yeah. You know, when you take it off, make sure you slide it back so you don't break this off. There's not supposed to be a nut on there. It's just a guide. So when you put the fan shroud on, it holds itself up in place. So there's no need to put a bolt in it. Let's put at least something in there to protect yourself. Nothing falls in there. We got that protected. Now let's get my drill bit. Okay. So I'm gonna need the drill bit. We're gonna drill it out. Start with that. This is the kit I'm gonna use. It's a timersert. It's a M6x10. Really, really nice kit. See, it's been used quite a bit. Works great. Let's see if we can get it good. Try not to go too far down. We don't need that much depth. Should put something over that too. Let me go grab a rag for that. So now that we've protected the engine a little bit better, we'll blow it this way. Try to get it away from the engine. Should be wearing glasses, but you know how that goes. Now, cut a spot in there so that now we're going to use that, get a nice lip on it. It's nice, it stops when it's done, so it makes it nice and flat, it bevels it out. Now we're going to run a tap. It's aluminum, so I'm not using any type of lube, which I know is not good. A tap on a drill is not my favorite thing to do, but it's aluminum. It's not hard to do. So check it one more time. Perfect. I'll get you guys a little closer in so you can see exactly how this works. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now 3D glasses right there. That hole, look how nice and clean that looks. So now we're going to take the kit, if I can find it. Right in front of my face. And then we're going to install one of these. But first we got to put box hat. here's the insert, and this is a swedge that it sits on. I'm gonna put just a dab of Loctite on there just so it doesn't come out ever again. It's a permanent repair. Go ahead and thread it in. Kind of nice it goes in. Okay. Now I have a special socket that I use for this, I think. It's been a while. And then we're going to use a hand ratchet. We're going to run the swedge in, make it nice and tight. The swedge pushes it out, but this is the right socket. Okay, that's tight. That shouldn't back out with it. Should be able to do it by hand. There you go. Perfect. Look how nice that is. Okay. Put this kit back. Now we're gonna pop the valve in. Let's blow all that stuff off first. Gotta get the metal away from it. See it all hiding under there? Don't want that going in the engine. Okay. Pull it out real fast. Get rid of that rag. Let's get a new rag. We're gonna clean it better so I can get in there now. Spray some brake clean. You wanna make sure these ledges are clean. See how dirty it is? The cleaner they are, the easier the valve will go in and not pinch the O-ring and tear the O-ring. We've done it before. So it's kind of a necessity. It has to be done on these. And here's the valve. It's all greased up. It sits in there just like this. And these, you just wiggle them around a little bit. Wiggle them, pop them in, and just went right in. Like nothing ever happened. Let me go grab the bolts. Yeah, it actually doesn't go like that. I don't know what I'm smoking today. It goes like this. Pops right in. How nice that goes in. Hopefully this one holds up. Snug it. Okay, nice and tight. Let's pull this out real fast. Try to keep all the metal out. Here we got both our rags. Make sure you slide this pin back in right there, like I showed you earlier. Now we still gotta pull the turbocharger next on this. Still not done with it. Just try not to drop anything down that hole. Again. Okay. We have a lot of those timersert kits, and they work amazing for everything. We have them for the Ford 2 valve when spark plugs blow out. Those work they're just the best. I've never had one come out. I've done hundreds of them. They just work. Okay, those are tight. I'm gonna plug the empty TPS in. It's just for emissions. It's a throttle valve that isn't really there. It's hollow inside. Okay. Now we're gonna put the horn on. We're gonna put that dude with the horn. Try to clean the oil out of the inside of that. Take that away real fast. And these, you want to make sure you get them on. There's a lip right here. You want to make sure it engages in there. If not, it will pop off. And these 6 liters are very finicky to that. Let's plug the valve back in. Okay, now let's get a better shot. Okay, now let's put this thing back together. small ones. They don't hold everything. Okay, that's good. That's done now. So now we're going to take the turbocharger off to check the ICP pressure sensor. Always. You know where to get the best advice?
Where?
Myself. So you always gotta talk to yourself. The dinky little screwdriver. It's had a lot of pressure. I'm gonna be taking that off, so I think we're doing no good. I gotta set all the parts over there. Unplug the mass air.
Yeah, I want to come up with a couple of like rubber things I can stuff in the hoses to keep those sealed.
Yeah, I have a bunch of plugs. Well, you've already rated my plug.
I already have I always have the hardest time getting that thing out with this still in. I always take those bolts out and kind of twist it a little bit.
No, they're really easy. You just don't, as long as it's not bolt proof, it doesn't have the external oil cooler, they're usually pretty easy to do. Okay. Now let's see. That's nice. Go grab plugs for that. Now we're going to take this charge tube off. I need a pair of cutters. Got to be extra careful when removing this charge tube to not create a spark party on the back of the alternator or the battery cable. That. Okay, let me grab a pair of dikes. Okay, let's see how much more stuff I can forget to grab today. Oh, pretty good. That works. We're gonna cut that zip tie. Hold on. It's already cracked. It's a nice gift. Cut this and I'll replace it. Okay. Pull that down like that. Put that back in. Gonna need 210 10mm nuts. This right here. And you gotta watch this. I'm 30. It's not melting. Now, we'll take this plate off here. Break it. That folded over. Line cord. It need to be crazy tight. Out of the way. Okay. two nuts over here. It's gonna be fun. Firewall coming apart. All the insulation. Now there's 3 mounting bolts. Since this is an early engine, there's gonna be one over here, one back here, and then there's one in the back that faces that way. They're kind of a pain, but we'll get it. Just that one. Let's get the back one up here.
Fall off now.
There's that. Now we should get this out of the way. Now these, you don't have to take them all the way off. I'm gonna get them close to the end. They have a tab on the back. You don't, because these nuts are generally non-magnetic. Okay, I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. This is a lot easier than normal, so understand. They're usually a pain in the butt to get these clamps off. They're usually rusted on. Even here, California, they get pretty gnarly. So there's that. We need an 8. I like to take this oil tube all the way off. There's a little 8mm bolt down there. Okay, there's that. Okay, oil line comes out just like that. Fairly simple. They're not too bad to work on. Now the back one. Fortunately, I can't show you. You have to take my word that it's a pain. But I'll show you what I use. It's the tightest one of them all. So that's what's back there. This is what I use. It sits back there just like this. Let's use that, break it free. Again, those came out really easy. Truthfully, they came out a lot easier than they normally do. Usually fight. So I got that clamp loose. Now I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna show you over here. It's a little tight. It might be dark. This one right here, I use like a gear wrench like this. Just loosen it. Again, you don't have to take camera. So let me get a good spot for this. I'm just gonna have to sit like. Usually I point these up to make them easier to get to because you can use your, like a 12-inch extension in a deep socket without having to get your gear wrench back here. Makes it a little bit easier, but sometimes people point them in weird directions. This is for the up pipes. They come up and feed the exhaust to the turbocharger. It's kind of a... So let's get back over here. It'll be interesting to edit out. The camera is recording it now. You gotta get this off. This one came off real easy. Again, really nice. And then I usually remove the alternator. I'll show that next. This one's kind of a pain in the butt because it is a dual alternator truck, so it's a little bit more difficult to deal with, but it's not that bad. So that's all loose. Turbocharger's loose. Just gotta make sure you pop this. Someone already bent it, but not trying to bend it, just trying to pop it like that. So now let me go grab 13mm to get the alternator off. So now we're gonna do the alternator. There's a pain in the butt to take the tension off, so we just do it like this. Be careful because it is still live. I never disconnected the batteries. So now, turbocharger is ready to come out. Take my primer like that, pull up on it, wiggle it, it comes right out. Okay. This one's gonna be not fun to do because so this is where we're working. You can see these, so it just slides in right here. You don't have to loosen the nut. You really don't want to take it off. Like I said, it's not magnetic. You just pop right on like that. Pop them over, you just push it, pops right out. Really simple. You don't lose that nut. Now we're gonna have to get to the ICP, which is not fun to do. So it's a little weathered, but let's go like that. Oh, that's missing the weather pack. That's nice. It's a nice treat. I'll have to get a piece of. I'll have to find a weather pack for that, and it looks like it might be corroded. That's good. So we're gonna have to fix that too. That's not right. Now, gotta get this ICP unhooked. So let me see if I can get a better shot in there. Yeah, I get a really good shot of the ICP. Really hard to see. Let's see. you can see, right way back there, in the left corner is the connector, so I'm gonna have to get that off. So let's go ahead and try that right now. Try not to break the connector like that. Can only do so much back here. It's missing the weather pack too, which is great. Yeah. So we're gonna have to change both those pigtails. That one looks okay, but this one you can see has some, it's like corrosion in it of some sort of buildup. Okay, let me get the socket for the ICP. Let's try doing this with a swivel. It's been a very long time since I've had to do one of these. These early ICPs, they're just not fun to do. There's no room back here. Let me move the IPR a little bit. IPR's moved, so hopefully this ICP will come out. Yeah, I should do it. Yes.
A little advice if you don't mind. Elite sheet metal, I told them about their inner core too. They said, oh yeah, go for it, do it. And then he called me back. He's like, hey, can you put something better on there? Something better than stock.
Okay.
Would you recommend doing that?
I mean, we can. I really. Is it a 6 liter?
Yes.
There's really nothing better because they all have that rubber boot that always likes to pop off on the turbocharger.
Okay.
We don't have anything that I could really suggest. You know, because they all do it. And the problem is, like, you put anyone else on there, they're all funky giant boots and they have transitions in them and they just cause all kinds of headaches.
Okay. That's what I told him.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really recommend it. Just a boot. We'll put a factory, Ford boot back on the turbocharger.
Okay.
And just make sure it's really clean and it should be fine.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, dookie. Let's see if I can get the old reach around. That's a gnarly spot right there. I got on it though. Okay. Now let's see if I can form some magic back here. Fun part's gonna be getting it back in. This is easy getting it out. And I say easy. It's not, but ratchet turned a little bit. Goodness. Okay. I got it to spin. I think something moved. My hands don't fit down there. I got sausage finger hands, as I'm told. But it doesn't make certain things easy. But someone was in here. Look at that. It's a mark of death. Dormant. Don't ever put a dormant part on one of these trucks. Okay, let's see if I can get my... I'm gonna have to move this turbocharger. Okay. You guys ready? I think we're still recording. Yes, we are. Look at that. I don't think that's my phone. It's weird. Okay. So you gotta give it the reach around. Actually, not as bad as I thought it was going to be to get it back in. Which is pretty nice. But don't put dormant stuff on these trucks. It does not work. It'll leave you stranded. And then you gotta pay someone to do it again. The only thing that's good that's really aftermarket is the bulletproof stuff. Like the EGR cooler, the oil cooler, the FICMs. Their lineup is very, very high quality stuff. That's all we put on these trucks. They just work. But these electrical parts, 99% of the time you have to put factory part back on it. It's the only way it'll work. This camera's getting all funky. It's getting dirty. I don't really have a good place for the camera. So I'm gonna stick it right here. Stick it right there. And hopefully at least understand what I'm trying to do. So I know that's not the best spot. But, okay. I'm gonna go grab my little ratchet. That'll make it a lot easier. I'll have to get connectors for them. Yeah, because the ICP broke and the IPR is missing the weather pack. I'll see if I have a weather pack for it, but I doubt it. Usually they go back in the trucks. I don't usually take them off and keep them. Then you wash it, gets water and everything, and then you're having a bad day again. Oops, sorry guys. Sorry. Leave this up here. This bungee cord is not working very well today. Definitely more difficult to do this with this filming. Okay. Now you switch out the ratchet or something with a little bit more leverage. Give it some more power. Okay, so it's just tight. I'm gonna see about those connectors. Do I have my tool? There we go. Got a flashlight. Okay, now we're gonna continue on this since we have the pigtails. So let's see how this goes. Someone's already been in here playing with this. I'm gonna try to reuse this because I don't have anything like it. It's already been replaced. No, maybe not. That's cool. Okay. This isn't the ideal connector for this, but it gets the job done. Okay. I'm gonna try to offset these connectors a little bit so it fits a little nicer, because it is. See that? And I dropped that one. Let's grab my crimps. Gotta use the correct side of the crimps so I don't cut into it too much. Okay. Okay. Give them a nice tug. Make sure that they're good. And then that butt connector might be part of this truck forever, which is okay. I'll go get another one. It's not a big deal. Okay. Now, I try to keep them in the same polarity. As you can see, kind of hard, they're ripped in the same, the tab on it. So the longer one, I'm gonna make them just, oh no, see? It's backwards. I'm gonna make it, I like them the same polarity. I'm gonna try to make them the same length. Probably gonna be just a little bit longer, which is okay. Makes it easier to work with. For me. So there's that. With the polarity. And then this one we're gonna cut right here. So let's grab the wire strippers. I want to get somewhere it doesn't need to belong. You don't want to use the pokey part. You give it a nice tug. You want to make sure it doesn't fall off. It's a little off, but it'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, that's why you always check them. That one wasn't engaged all the way. But luckily I didn't get a good bite on it, so we can do it again. That's better. Okay, they're not perfect, but there's nothing wrong with that. And then we still have to change the ICP. Let me grab another butt connector on my torch. I use these for most of everything. They seem to work the best for me. Heat shrinkable butt connectors. The wind is gonna make this very difficult to heat these up. And I don't really feel like catching the truck on fire, so let's see how this works. I don't want to burn the wires too much. A little bit is okay. It's not gonna hurt nobody. There's that one. I want to burn that other wire. Okay. So I usually smash them on the bottom just to make sure they get a good bite. Those are never going anywhere. Let's tape them up. You can see the glue is oozing out of there. I'm out of my good tape, so I have to use this tape, which I don't really like, but I have to go to the store and get some more. This is the actual Scotch or the 3M branded tape. Somebody's already played with this and went to town on this, which does not look very pretty. So we're gonna slice it open and see what goodies it reveals. Try to cut it so we can reuse that. Looks like all the splicing is in there. Just careful not to cut your fingers. You shouldn't cut towards yourself. Just don't do what I do. You'll probably be okay. Yeah, see, someone's already. Oh, brothers. It's heat shrink. It's all just tape. It's a big glob of tape. It's okay. I don't like doing this. Look at that. There's double connections in there. Wow. That's nuts. I hate having two connections. You should never do that because it always increases the chance of having an issue. It's kind of crazy. If I do is I'll cut my hand. It'll be the second time this week that a Ford's drawn blood. No, I just really long solder, or not solder, heat shrink joints. That's okay. They're just all the way in there. That's not very fun. Let's hope my pigtail's long enough to place it. Not really. Should be okay though. I don't want to. Yeah, we should be fine. You can see how it tapered down, so they pushed it down. So we'll start. I usually start with the center one. It's a little easier. Look at all the wiring breaking on it. Just a lot of heat on these trucks in the back. So blue's the third one. It's the one by itself. I usually start with that one first. It's easier for me to keep track of it this way. You should work good. That's a good sign, I guess. I don't want to go into that harness too much because I don't have enough. I don't have that much length. Checker had a good adhesion in there, that's for sure. So we'll let the wire strippers deal with it. This is the center pin. So unfortunately, with it being this tight, I'm gonna have to run them all at the same length. So it's gonna be a little snug in the. It's gonna be like a big bubble, but I don't want to make an extension because then it just compromises the center again. It just gives it another point of failure. I hate cutting them anyways, but you have to. These ones are just a pain, these 6 liters with all the stuff in the back. I don't like that, but it's right on the edge. That one's okay. let's do another one. This wind is crazy today. Okay. So you always got to be extra careful when wiring these, because you do not want to wire them backwards. You can burn the ICP up because it is 5 volts.
DC amps?
Yeah, it's DC. You've got to make sure you hold and reset it. If you need help, I can help you guys in a little bit. I can help you in a little bit. Does it still have a draw?
I don't know, but he's got one on. I'm gonna check it.
Okay. And make a good video. Oh, God, that heat shrink is gnarly. Don't do this, please. You're gonna cut yourself. So don't do most of the stuff that I do, because I'm a little crazy. Look at that, that was perfect. I'm right at the solder joint too. You see where they soldered it. I have to cut that back. Let's make sure it does not blow the engine. There's really nowhere for it to go. Besides down there. It does need exhaust. Not a problem. Okay, so this one is just triple check. You want to be certain, because this is not fun to take apart. So this is going to be the red wire. So I already did the blue, the center. This is, see how that same side? You should always do one at a time so you don't ever screw it up. Unless you know what you're doing. But it's just safer. Do one at a time, and I have to go through and match them up, and so I don't have to deal with any issues. Okay, now I gotta get another butt connector for this one. Just don't want this going down the bed. Let me grab another butt connector. Okay, let's try this again. So I got that. I might use that to protect it. I might. Okay. Again, it's always good to double check. This is the black one, so we're good. So we're gonna cut this in the same spot. Just about. Get rid of that ugly pigtail. This firewall's all. This is this sucks. Trying not to cut too deep because you don't want to get into the wire. Because this stuff back here is shielded, so you don't want it touching that. You don't want it to be bare and touch the shield and have a short, an intermittent short, and especially with ICP. It's not a good thing to have. It'll keep the truck from running if it's shorted out or if it's biased in any way. Okay. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. That's nice. I don't remember which one I did. Oh, that sucks. That's why you always check them. I still got one load. Let's see. That one's good. So, we got a wire diagram. Hopefully it helps us some. But the $1 million question is that the front? I guess it'd be the front. Should be. This is C Charlie. Charlie is blue green? Blue light green, huh? Look at that. Well, if I don't have these backwards. Brown and white. B. Does this have labels on it? No. So I'm thinking this one's no, that one's not B. This one's A. Connector to be sensor. It doesn't say if it's the front or the back, which sucks. So A, we're gonna go with gray red. Okay. Let's see if I can. If I can't get it in there, then I'm gonna have to replace it. It's actually going in. Yeah, it's crazy. We're gonna have to try. Let's see. Oh, that's a good connection now. Okay. This one's gonna be brown and white. I think we'll slides right in. That's the one downside about these connectors. They kind of suck. You have to get them really tight. Plus, these are really small diameter wires. I think what we'll do, I want to make sure that I have these hooked up correctly. So I might plug in at one of our tester sensors and just make sure we don't get any circuit codes without catching the truck on fire. Be nice. Not really in the mood for a fire today. These early 6 liters are just wiring nightmares. Especially with ICP in the back. It causes a lot of problems back here. There's so much going on back here on the 04.5 and up. The ICP was moved to the passenger valve cover, the front of it, which is so much more accessible. So I'm gonna go grab style ICP, but they're wired the same. It's just a different design. This is one of our testers, so I'm gonna plug it in. Let me turn the key on and grab the scan tool and check it. It's 100% okay to turn the key on right now, as long as you don't try to start it. If you did, it would just gush oil everywhere. So we're not gonna attempt that. And the belt's off, so it's not ideal. But we just wanna make sure this ICP is working, see if this thing will read the VIN, and go from there. Oh, it did. Is that the right VIN? I don't know, we're gonna find out. Just wanna make sure it's 2003. Yeah, it looks correct. 6 liter Ford. And then we're just gonna put some air pressure in there and make sure it reads, and if it does, we're good to go. And then we'll tape it up, seal it up. Not a good Pigtail. PCM. And I did get the authorization to reprogram that PCM in that 2015 Ford, so we'll do that next after I get the wiring hooked up on here. So we're gonna erase the codes, because if it has a code for an ICP, it's not gonna read right. So we shouldn't. We'll just go back and make sure we don't have no ICP. We're gonna have an IPR code and a VGT code and a mass air and an intake code, but it doesn't really matter right now. Look at the FICM. These trucks, as they age, they just fall apart. The scanners was very, very slow on these trucks. That's why I don't use it very often. Oh, there we go. ICP, that's the regulator. ICP, regulator open. The scanner likes to double the codes. So now we're gonna go into live data. We'll go look at ICP. See what it reads. Go down to ICP. Hopefully you guys can see this. Injector control pressure desired. We got it in KPA. Still haven't configured the scanner, and then we can look at the voltage of the sensor too. So should put some air in it. It's not gonna go up very much because this sensor can read up to like 4,000 psi. But yeah, what you got? It works. Yeah, there's a change, so it's wired properly. What you got? I don't put that down there. Okay.
Turn off. We'll take that, get the cluster out. You see on the spindle? You know the spindle is, right?
Hey, I would get it to get.
Oh, that piece. Okay.
I would get it to where the cluster's about to come out. Don't take it out.
Yeah.
Because if you mess with it too much.
All right. I was gonna ask you as far as this one. You said to just let it run or something, right?
That's the 7.3. Yes. Is it still running?
No, I never started. I just
Yeah. Just pull it in a spot where if it dies, it's not a big deal.
Okay. And what am I looking for?
It to die.
All over your hard code. And then you got out there, you got a working part of it. Yeah. I'll ask her. Have a good day. Thank you, brother. Good day. You too.
It's too much.
Yeah.
That's a $500 or $300 Ranger. It's a lot of money spent to destroy something. So I would just check it first. Yeah, the light is stuck on this truck all the time. It doesn't go dead though. I would check it and then just back probe into the back of the thing to the junction box and then pull the cluster, because if you disturb the cluster, it might reset. Okay, I know it's not perfect.
Use the restroom.
Okay, but again, I don't really want to use Tessa tape back there. I guess I can. It's not ideal, but we know the ICP is wired properly, so it'll be fine, because this thing's a pain in the butt to get back here. Maybe grab some Tessa tape and my special zip tie. Don't have any Tessa tape, so we're gonna zip tie this thing shut again, and then I'll tape the back of it up really good. There's heat shields to protect it. These things are just, there's so much heat in these engine bays. That they just burn everything up. Okay, I'll tape all that up back there. At least so that's kind of protected. I'll go through and fix these. That'll slice my hand open. Or not. don't really want this exposed. Gotta fold that stuff in to keep it, to protect it under the tape. It's not gonna look pretty, but it'll work. I'm gonna have to tape this up too. Let me get back behind it so I can come in and tape it better. Tape it like this. And then you go and tape it under here. Just to get it under there too. And you go back the other way. Okay. It's not the prettiest looking thing, but it gets the job done. So now, the fun part, we get to try to figure out how to plug this stuff in. I know the camera is gonna be flashing. It's the refresh rate of the light. It's LED. Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You watched any of the late videos?
I'm telling you, the mall's my new favorite.
Well, did you see, you like the cameras that we have?
I love the cameras, made all the difference in the world. I
Yeah.
love the four
Well, the
screens.
The one that's coming out tonight,
Yeah.
it's at the Honda dealer. It's honestly not that funny. The funniest part is I went in my bathroom, recorded the toilet flushing, and I put that in the video. So you can hear the sound.
Now, is the, I love that.
Yeah, we got stickers on the side now.
Yes,
Now we gotta
yes.
put some on your van, on your car.
Can you get that website, theshopguysbuild.com?
On it.
Yeah, no, I mean, have you already bought it? You
No,
already got
I
it?
haven't done nothing with
Get
that
it,
yet.
get it, just to have, because they can do that.
Yeah.
Get it, just to have it yourself. It's what, 20 bucks?
Yeah, something like that.
But was that the sound of the engine on that thing?
The van?
Yeah.
The exhaust, it's very
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, no, it sounded bitchin',
Yeah,
man. It sounded great. Especially when you were going around the other one, when you were going around the car, the
Oh, the car
club.
beat? Oh,
Yeah.
that was me revving it up.
Yeah, no, it sounded great. It, that thing, which means they had to be looking at.
Yeah.
But I love the change of the four screens.
Yeah.
Both of you guys with the costumes on.
Yeah, it even gets
hilarious. Oh,
T. Okay, well, let's finish this up now. I don't even know where it was. I think I was plugging the ICP in. And these, you just want to make sure they're actually in all the way. And with me poking at it, I can tell it wasn't in all the way. Because you do not want to have to take this back apart because it wasn't plugged in all the way. Okay, there, that's plugged in all the way. Okay, and then got two flashlights here. And then this is gonna sit like this. We'll push the IPR down. I don't like the IPRs pointed up on these. They're too close to the exhaust. Okay. They're kind of a pain in the butt. You don't want to use the sharp part of the pick, push on it, because it just pokes through the thing and maybe damage it.
what's that? Oh, that'd be a lot of money.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm looking for the next one tonight. And
Okay, that looks perfect.
put Dustin Tanzillo. Right now.
Okay, now that we've gotten the wiring and everything fixed back there, now we can put the turbocharger back in. So, okay, sucker's just a little heavy. I just set them here, work my way back. So, and these O-rings are brand new, so they're not gonna change. Usually I do. These early ones are a little bit of a pain in the butt to get in. Now you just get it there. You just gotta watch out. You don't pinch this O-ring. I mean, usually they're a pain in the butt, but generally not that easy. Then you want to make sure you line up the up pipe. So generally just give a little tap like that. So we want to make sure on these 6 liters especially that this back here, that gap between the two, you want to make sure there's nothing back there. See how it's nice and flush? That's the up pipe and that's the bottom of the turbo. You want to make sure that's perfectly synced, because if not, you'll have a major exhaust leak. There we go. Let's get this thing back together. I have an hour left of our work day, and I would like it done today. And the early ones, generally, you have to put the washers back on. The later ones don't have them. And the way you can tell the early and the late turbochargers, the late has the bolt facing this way, sits just like that. The late, the bolt sits like this with no washer on it. I prefer those, they're a lot easier to get in. And this one was really easy to get in. They're usually not that easy. So that's really nice. We'll get these 3 tight. And since the up pipe is butted up right next to it, I'm not gonna put that on yet. I'll tighten the turbo first. Generally, if you install the turbo and the up pipe's a little funky, I usually just put the bolts in the turbo, just finger tight, and then get the clamp on the up pipe. Tighten the clamp, then I tighten the turbo, so that everything's lined up, but we don't need to do that in this situation. Perfectly fine. Well, all of them are in. Right here, our trusty ratcheting wrench. Okay, that's tight. Okay. So, those 3 bolts are tight to hold the turbocharger down. Then you want to pop this on, down pipe. So grab both the clamps and the tools to tighten them. 11mm or 7/16. I use an 11. I think either will work. Because I really don't work on that much old stuff. I only have metric. I have literally no standard tools. Make sure it's all flush and pop the lock right on like that. Then you get it tight, slide it, lock it in, it's in. And then you just tighten it down and you're good to go. Pretty simple. Fiberglass on my arms tonight. That's the one downside of these trims. The fiberglass. This is the same. This clamp for that pipe's the same way. You just pop it on, just like that one. Now we'll go through the impact. A lot of people don't like doing it this way, but this is how I do it. You don't want to tighten them too tight. So that's tight enough.
When you get a judge, you want to take a look at that.
Yeah. Crap, what was I thinking? I was thinking of something. I don't remember. Oh, the old truck. Put the old truck right there. No, you can get it. Just put the old truck right there. Now, let's get the up pipe one
You want
time.
me to move this one on the other side of the bed?
Which one? No, just we're gonna move it tonight. Make sure you get your socket back. Got it. Never want to leave something on there. Okay. And I got that. So now, the next thing I want to do, we're going to put the oil feed pipe on. Now generally, I like to replace them, but we just resealed some of this stuff, so I'm not going to replace it. We just did it like a month ago. And they look fine, they're brand new. They're Ford steel, so they'll be free. Don't want to get rid of that fiberglass in there. And then 2 10mm. And just make sure you pay attention to the size, because these are not the same, like on a new style turbocharger. They're not the same long bolts for the mounting. These oil feed bolts are a little bit smaller.
Someone loaned Talkers.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not. That's Daddy.
He appreciates it. He bought one and then the shipping was messed up, so they finally got two.
Yeah, give it to Dad, because his is broke. And he welded up for him. That's nice. Okay. So those 2 10s are tight. Next, we're gonna do the 8. Usually, when you get a turbo hardware kit, they come with this bolt. This is an 8mm bolt that pulls down in the oil filter adapter housing, or the oil cooler housing, whatever you want to call it. So that'd be crazy tight, just tight. So now we get to the fun part, the alternator. That's gonna be probably the most difficult part of this whole process. And we'll see if I can do it this way. So these 6L belts, they're not fun to do. What I usually do is make sure it's perfect on everything else. Looks good. Then I just pull up. Oh, sometimes when I have the strength, sometimes this doesn't work. Better eat my Wheaties. So that's not gonna work. This one. So now we're gonna do the next. We'll try and do it the other way. Let me go grab some tools. I call this chopsticks because I try to get the belt close and I take a 1/4 inch extension, 2 of them, put them in like this, grab it just to get it on there. See, sometimes it's easier to pull the shroud, and it's a pain in the butt. It's not easy. So, okay.
Want me to keep trying to think it?
No, just leave it alone. I don't remember if he had something funky in there. There's two. And I just... Okay. Well, there's that. It wasn't stripping, it's just pulling it down. It's a lot of tension. Oh, too far back. Just want to line it up as best you can. I don't feel like doing that. Now you're done. So now I just pull the belt. Okay. Perfect. Done. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I've never found a good way to do it unless you take the shroud off, and this one has the dual alternators and usually it blocks it, so it's usually not worth it for me. But let me go grab some more stuff. Just go clean up a little bit and then I'll be done hopefully in like 10 minutes. Okay.
So I'm hearing that Verizon's down, and we're getting a lot of people that our phone, our calls aren't going through.
Go for the shop or yourself?
Shop. And I read that Verizon's down, my mom's phone's down. Oh, that feels so good.
Your phone's working.
Yeah, it's working. Okay.
Hello? Oh.
Hello.
Oh, never mind. I thought I was gonna try to mess with you. I'll talk. Oh, bye. Bye. Oh, it worked. Okay. That clamp isn't that as loose as I'd like it to be. So we'll loosen this clamp up a little bit. Then I'll try to get it in. These clamps can be finicky sometimes, especially the one up on top. The one that goes to the turbocharger. Sometimes you'll tighten them and they'll roll off. You gotta pay extra attention to it. Trying to get the bottom seated. There's that. Just gotta rock it to get it past the lip. Yep, perfect. I'll show you what that looks like when they're in a good place. So So this one down here, I'm gonna make sure it's on all the way. You don't want it rubbing into the AC line. You want to be in the middle of the lines on the boot. Pretty fine. It's not gonna hit it. And next up, we have this. The O-rings in there. You don't want to smash the wire over there. Okay. Those two. And the one thing that I always forget to do is make sure this is down before you put the reservoir. Not you can take the reservoir back out, which isn't hard, it's just annoying. Now, make sure you put this back. This truck's a little funky. There's some tape, zip ties, and a bunch of pieces that I'm not too fond of. Try to put everything back in its place. Everything has a place. It needs to go back into it. There's the reservoir. And your 8. And these are 2 8mm bolts. 1 and 2. Try to push it back when I tighten it, so it's in a better place. Now let me get the air box and then I'll straighten it. Put that on. So, gotten all that back together. The magic of editing. Just falls right in. You never knew. Just gotta make sure the mass air wiring is right here. And this, usually not that easy, but sometimes you get a little lucky. The air box locks in. Like that. This I usually squeeze like that. It goes on like that. It's pretty simple. Make sure mass air. Don't want to forget, which everybody does, plug in the air filter minder right here. Right here. You always want to make sure you put that in. Just put that on just like that. Fine. I still gotta hook the hoses up and tighten that clamp, but see right here, you want it to be in between the lines. And that boot's all the way engaged. So if you don't, they end up popping off. And this, gotta take my plugs off. The coolant's really green. It's a little weird. Get that on. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, just fell. Not very good one-handed. Okay, well, that works for now. Okay, clamp in the middle, and then we're going to use. I'm going to tighten this here. Gotta tighten this. I don't know what's up with that, so I'm not messing with it. Tighten this hose clamp up. It's tight. Okay. Put this on, make sure that's all the way down. I gotta get 2 clips for that, and then a zip tie for that. So let me go grab this. Yeah, that's, I guess Paul's buddy brought that for you.
Paul, buddy?
Paul Harris?
You brought it for me?
Yeah. Oh, he brought it for the one, because remember Paul had to weld one? I think he's trying to give you a new one.
Really?
Yeah, that's nice. So now we're gonna make it perfect. We're gonna put these 2 in here. Just cut like it should be, like that, and then we're gonna fix the zip tie. Like it, didn't get him. Better turn. Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully, we'll find out. Okay. So now we're going to check it. Oh, goodness. We're gonna check it and see if it runs. So we're gonna see what the scanner does. So erase the codes. Is it gonna run or is it not gonna run? Let's just make sure we don't have no codes come back. Like I left something unplugged. And the CD changer's going nuts. Typical Ford. We have a P01000, which hasn't ran through the monitor, so we're gonna see. Fire right up. That's cool. So escape. We'll do another, just make sure nothing popped up. This is all live, so I'm not gonna edit this stuff out. I want everybody to see the good and the bad. You know, it's all about honesty. So far so good. I'll update you on what happens. So we're back in the 6-liter. Now we did the ICP sensor, the ICP pigtail, the IPR pigtail, and the resealed the E-jar valve and installed the timersert in the intake that holds the E-jar valve down. So we're just gonna make sure there's no codes, go take it for a little drive, get everything warm so then we can come back and run some tests and make sure that the E-jar is working properly. Just trying to get this all set up. It just takes a few minutes. And it might not work because it's running. Get a good spot where I can shut it off. And once you do that, it goes right through. Yeah, we can restore it. There's the CD player again. Cool, it's all good. So let's go and start up and let it run. Powertrain. I'll actually go to self-test. I really don't use this too much, and only for doing testing like this, just to make sure, because you can do all kinds of testing with the IDS, which is really nice. That CD changer is annoying. Get running again, just to be sure. So mainly we're just looking for an ICP code. I don't even know if it's gonna come back. I doubt it, But we just got to get it good. Hopefully there's no codes. We'll go drive it and get it all warm and toasty and make sure the EGR tests good when we're done. Oh, yeah, cylinder 4 contribution mouse wall. That's nice. Cylinder 4. Well, that's good. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna go ahead and clear that. So if it was anything caused by me, it would be like a open circuit. So we'll just clear it and then I'll go take it for a spin and see. It's probably getting time for some injectors, but we'll let them know. I think they're already aware of it too. There's some injector issues on this truck. It's really common on the 6-liter. And I always have a P1000, so we'll go drive it and see if it comes back. We'll let the customer know about that, but for right now, it is what it is. And I want to see, I know this truck has a problem with the door, one of the door sensors. We'll see if we can figure out which one it is. They didn't ask about it, but at least if I can just scan it and get an idea. Switch hands. We'll play musical hands for a minute. Okay, now we're good. So anytime after doing a turbo off on one of these, or you mess with the charge tubes, you always want to try to get in them a little bit just to make sure that it doesn't, one of the boots doesn't pop off, because you never know. But you just, as long as you tighten them good, clean everything up, make sure it sits good, you'll be fine. They sometimes are a little finicky, especially at the turbocharger where the little elbow boot goes into it, the one I took off. They can be a little finicky, but just make sure it's nice and clean. You just don't want no oil on the inside of the joint. And tighten it good, and it's the best you can do. Turbocharger sounds good. There's no smoke. No smoke's always a good sign. Seems to run good too. It doesn't seem to miss. Maybe we just have a weak injector when it's cold. It has some stiction in it. When the converter's locked up right now, I don't feel any shuddering, so ice has some stiction in it. I would like to get it to run through the EGR monitor before we give it back, just to be certain that it's fixed. But if the customer's time frame will allow it, then we'll do that. We drive it this time, and then we'll go drive it again later on in the day. I'll get in it right here a little bit and make sure I don't have no boots. I prefer to do it closer to the shop, but I've gotten pretty good at making sure that they're good. Has plenty of power, runs good. Of course, again today it's nice and windy, like every other day. Turn that stuff over. Get in it again a little bit just to make sure. Another thing you want to check on these trucks when you are accelerating, like, it doesn't have to be under wide open throttle. When the turbocharger, you can hear it when it's spooling up. If you let off the throttle and it surges, you can hear it go ch-ch-ch. Then you could have, there's something usually wrong with that. Like, usually not a good thing. Could be, I've seen exhaust back pressure sensors skewed, cause that, or the vanes inside the turbocharger can get stuck, or some type of turbocharger mechanical issue with the vanes can cause that. So usually you just check the exhaust back pressure sensor, make sure it's reading atmosphere, go drive it, make sure it works. If it's working fine, then you got to pull a turbocharger, take it apart, and usually it's a stuck unison ring or something, or a vane or something. I'd say probably 90% of the time it's a stuck unison ring. And you can either clean it or replace it. Depending on how bad it is, I go either way. It just depends. It's got good power. And this is the one that had that Dorman injector control pressure sensor in there. When you do work on these trucks, try not to install anything aftermarket. You know, if you try to always use factory stuff. For sensors and electronics, always go with factory components. It's not worth the headache. You know, like a Dorman IPR, those will just give you headaches. Dorman ICP, like this one, it just threw random codes. It's really common for those aftermarket sensors to do that. The factory parts are a little bit more money, but they're just worth it. Especially for if you're working on them at a shop, you really don't want these things coming back to haunt you. You know, for you saving, you know, $100-$150 for an ICP sensor or an IPR, it's just not worth it. Just put a factory one on it. You don't have to worry about it. It'll be perfect. As long as it was diagnosed properly. But I'll see if I can find out which door is open to for him. See if we can get an idea of what that's all about. He didn't complain about that, but see if we can get an idea about that. Generally, if you do have like a contribution issue on these trucks, there's a couple ways it could go. Like in the morning when you start it can run rough, and then once it starts to warm up, it smooths out. That's usually, you know, a stiction in the injectors. It's the injectors just getting worn out. There is some stuff you can try. You can try putting Hot Shots additive in the oil and the fuel. Sometimes that helps. It just depends on how bad the injectors are internally. But you know, the best idea is you can always try adding it. We always suggest it to customers and let them know that it can help. If it doesn't, then you know, obviously we recommend replacing the injectors. But you also want to make sure it's not the make sure the glow plug system's working properly. These ones are pretty good, the 6 liters, because they have a smart module. They can tell you if one of the glow plugs is bad. You know, if it's not working, they'll generally throw a specific code for a specific glow plug. So it's usually never a glow plug issue on these trucks with that. It's usually either an injector issue or it could even be something in the FICM. And the FICM can be a little tricky to figure out because there's 2 sides to it. You have the logic side, that's a computer, and then there's an amplifier side. And the amplifier side is generally really easy to diagnose. You just check the voltage of the output, and on a factory FICM, it should be anywhere around, the lowest you kind of want to see is maybe 46 volts, 46, and as high as, it can go up to 49 volts. Anything outside that specification, it will throw a code, and you always just want to check that first, because I've seen FICMs do that too. In the morning, they'll have a hard time starting, and the voltage will be like 20-30 volts. It'll run, but it'll run like crap, and then once it warms up, it'll start running better, and you'll think, oh, maybe it's just a bad injector, but you know, it's the FICM that's taking a crap. So always check, make sure the voltage is good. And I don't really recommend the higher voltage FICMs, just because if you put like a 52 volt or a 58 volt in there, I think it's 52 or 54, I know it's a 58, you don't want to run those. You want to run a stock 48 volt. If you run anything higher than that, then it'll throw an FICM performance code, and if you're trying to smog it, it'll fail smog because there's a code in there for the FICM performance because the voltage is outside of a specification. So I mean, people say it gives them more power. I have no idea. I don't have an opinion on that. My thing is, we're in California. We have to smog our stuff. We have to stay legal. So anytime we do it, we put a 48 volt FICM back on it. I prefer the bulletproof units, the full anodized aluminum, really, really nice units, and you know, it'll be perfect. No codes, they run great. Bulletproof, we're an authorized dealer. They sell an amazing product. They truly do. Their oil cooler systems are really, really nice. And that's what I prefer to run on anything, honestly. The oil coolers, you know, you can use a factory Ford one or use theirs. It doesn't really matter. But their bulletproof coolers are really good, or the EGR coolers are really good. Water pump's good. Everything they make, we don't have any issues with any of their stuff. So now let's scan it for some codes and see what we got. I doubt anything cropped up, but I just want to make sure. And this is all raw. If there's a mistake, we're gonna see it. Because I like to be transparent. We all make mistakes, you know. Stuff happens. So there's not too much glare. Yeah, there's a ton of glare. Of course. So make sure there's no codes, and then we'll go back and if it's warm enough. So we just have a P1000. P1000 is completely normal. It just means that the truck hasn't ran through all the monitors yet. Cleared, it's just telling you that we cleared this last time. It's not a current code, so we don't have to worry about that. So we'll go back, go powertrain, we're gonna go air management, EGR system test, check the box. It's gonna want the engine off. Hopefully the oil temp's warm enough to run the test. And my GoPro's about to die, so hopefully it hurries up. We have 3% left. 2%. 1%. Well, I might have to go grab another battery. We might not make this one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab another battery real quick. Tested doesn't time out. It'll stop doing a test if that oil temp gets too low. we go. Okay, now you gotta do this with the engine off. See the RPM is red. I'm gonna shut the engine off, turn the ignition on, we're at 190. Looks good. Now we can press the check mark. Now it's gonna ramp the EGR valve open and close, make sure it stays. Actually, that line. Let's check in the actual voltage. This is the ramp test. No, it's actually comparing the PIDs. Getting a little ahead of myself. Just comparing the pressure sensor. So barometer is 13.384 and the map is really close, so they're fine. It's not out of specification. Now it's doing the ramp test. It's going to open and close the valve twice and make sure that it stays within a certain parameter. And when I did this test initially, I did it 3 times and 2 or 3 times, and it passed both times just to be certain it didn't. The valve wasn't malfunctioning. And this one's so far so good. You can see it's within the green line, or the green box, which is great. Sometimes you'll get them, they'll ramp up fast and they'll just flatline, and they'll cut right in, and then they're not within the specifications, so they need to be replaced. And it's still looking good. Okay, so that test passed. So it was actually perfect. I think it wants me to start it. Yep, start it, loud to idle. Okay. We're idling. It's gonna open the EGR, spool the turbo up to max. It's gonna do a bunch of different things. It'll turn the turbo down. You can see we're within the parameters. Revving it up, and it's gonna mess with the EGR valve and the turbocharger. Well, it passed all the tests. I usually like to, it's just going to rerun the end one, but I usually like to run them again just to be sure. Yeah, see, it didn't like that. The map sensor is really a little low. That's why I always prefer to do these twice. These early engines are very weird though, so you have to be careful with them. because they use the inferred exhaust back pressure sensor method. So they have an exhaust back pressure sensor, but they really don't use it to learn the turbocharger. They use some method with the mass airflow sensor. It's really weird. So if you ever get some weird turbo codes like P03A, I think it is P03A, for a turbocharger learn, it can be a pain in the butt on these trucks. Because you have to let them run warm, idle for a while, and hopefully it'll learn it. We can go back and check the learn count real quick. Passed. Now I'm not too sure if I can. It's not self-test. I want data logger. It's gonna take forever again. Modules, PCM. There it goes. No, I think it's VGT learn. VGT learn. Okay, learn. I think that's condition arc, not correct. VGT, no. I'm used to looking at it on this scanner without using the IDS. Now we'll check what door switch is funky. VG2 learn, no. Strategy successfully learned, hasn't learned this cycle. So we'll go back. I want to see. It's exit, I think you exit, yeah, right there. Let's see what doors is being weird. We'll try to get that. At least let him know about that. Modules. I think this is gonna be the gem. Is it the gem or the cluster? It might be the cluster. The AGC's hybrid electronic cluster. I think that's what Ford calls it. Let's see. There's so many different terminologies. It's somewhat difficult to keep track of everything. Driver door switch. Is that it? No, it's not the right one. Driver door jar switch status. Passenger door jar switch status is a 4-door. We got 2. Where are the other ones? Accessory delay, all lamp, backup, battery supply, battery saver, brake lamp, door jar. Yeah, we know that's on, obviously. Let's see if it's at least in the front too. Probably gonna be in the rear. Thing takes forever to load. So passenger door switch. But the $1 billion question. I'm gonna pull it up. We'll spray some lube in that door latch, and then I want to grab the prindles off too. See if we can fix that. Okay, so the snap-on, I have the snap-on set up now to make it a little bit easier. I tried spraying lube in the door latch, it didn't fix it, so we'll see if he wants us to dive into that, but I don't think they're going to. I wanted to see if it ran through the EGR monitor, which I don't think so, because it still has the P1000 in it. These usually, sometimes they take a while, sometimes they're quick. And EGR is the only one that's not complete. So what we can do, start up, let's do a key on engine running test just to kind of make sure that stuff works. So make sure the engine's hot before you do this. Yeah, press and release the brake pedal, park brake, turn the steering wheel, cycle the overdrive, all the cruise switches, four-wheel drive if equipped, and same thing with the clutch. We don't have four-wheel drive and this is automatic, so those don't apply to us. Then the truck will start running, doing its own little thing. Usually when it takes a while, that means there's no codes. But it's not always the case. Nothing. Okay. And that runs the test the EGR, the turbocharger, so we're gonna go ahead and just give it back to them, let them know about the, probably gonna end up bringing it back for the injectors, because I know they were kind of interested in doing the injectors. So okay, well, we'll give it, see what happens, but it'll be fine. It's another one down.